we've got in this country, and a website that can help us. It's called Turn to Us, and that's turn to, the number 2, us, and it's a charity, and they've developed a website that will lead you through the process to give you an idea of whether there are either benefits that can help you or grants. There's also a part of the website that looks at grants, so money that might be out there from a charity to help you in these difficult times. It's a really useful website and it's really easy to use. And also you can dip in and out. So if you get halfway through the process and you find you haven't got all of the information you need to hand, they give you a reference number that you can take away and input when you get home or on another computer. So it's not actually saving the information on the computer where you're using it, but it's all associated with this reference number. So you can go away and come back when you've got the information that you need.
Okay.
But the information that it will be really helpful you've got when you sit down to work through it is any information of any benefits that you are already getting, or if you've got your bank statements, that's going to be really helpful. When you're filling it out, if you live with someone else, another adult in your household, then you'll need information about their information as well, so their bank statements as well, because you do fill it out as a couple, if you are in a couple. Okay, so we've gone to turntous.org.uk, but I think if you just put Turn to Us into Google, it would come up with the benefits checker. So we're looking at the screen here. It's a free website, so you're not going to have to pay anything to use it, and it's also confidential, so it's just between you and the computer. They're not going to share your information with anyone else. They're not even going to save the information on the computer, so it's entirely between you and the computer, and you can remain anonymous as well, so you don't have to fill out your name and your full address. They will ask you a postcode, and that's quite useful because some benefits entitlement is just based in Somerset, for example, or maybe just within the Mendip area, or there might be some charities that are just in Frome. So to have your postcode might be useful, but again, it's not going to save it on the computer, but you might have to put it in at some point.
So if
yes.
I don't have a computer,
yes,
in Frome,
yes,
where could I?
Where can you
access?
go?
Can you use this on your phone? Or
You can use it on your phone, but you might find some of the information is a bit fiddly on a small screen. So you could either come and see us in our cafe on a Thursday afternoon at the town hall, or there's a digital cafe on a Thursday morning at the Cheese and Grain, or you could go into the library, and they've always got computers in the library that you can use. As well as the digital cafe, I think Frome Community Education as well will help you if you need online access. So there are other places, but
potentially they'd be private or
yes, confidential. So you're not going to have to let the whole of the town know what your situation is, or even that you're using this website. So people there are some people that don't like other people to know that they're claiming welfare benefits, although it's our entitlement that we've paid our taxes for. So, okay, so it's a free confidential benefits calculator, and I'm just going to start the calculator. So we're going to use the benefits calculator. In the middle of the screen there, it's got, do we want to return to a calculation that we've done before? So we're going to use the benefits calculator, and there's a few questions to start off with, just to make sure that the calculator is going to help us. So we're going to imagine, all members of our household are So that's the first question. Yes, we are. And all the way through, look, it's asking, why are we asking this question? So if it's asking you a question and you think, I don't really want to answer that, I wonder why they need to know that. And it always gives a full explanation of why that's important information.
So why is it asking that?
Okay, so let's go and have a look. So if you have citizenship in a different country, but have come to the UK to live, you may still be entitled to benefits. Depends on your immigration status, which tells us what you can do while you're in the UK. If any member of your household is not a British citizen, please answer no. Your household includes the partner you live with, if you have one, and any dependent children you have. So it always give a...
well, that sounds very sensible.
Yeah, and your answer is completely private, never shared with anyone, including the government. It's only used by us to calculate your entitlement. So it really helps if you give honest and as complete an answer as you can to all of these questions.
Because effectively this is a calculator
Yes.
system.
Yes.
It's not the actual system.
Exactly
You
that.
have to fill in, but it's really for information.
It's for information and it's giving you your likely entitlement to benefits. The actual benefits application process, you're quite right, is a separate process, but you can use the report that you can print off at the end of this whole process to use that as the input to the application process, which again you might need help with because it's a really complex process.
So where do I go for that?
Oh, that's a difficult question. Again, the Citizens Advice Bureau is going to help you with that, or if you're elderly, Age UK is going to help you with that, or if you have a disability, then you might find that Scope might help you with that. So there are organisations that will help you. If you're claiming job seekers allowance, then or universal credit as it is now, then the job centre, which is down opposite Marks and Spencer's down in Kingsway, they would help you. But they might help you by saying there's a computer over there to use. So if you want more one-to-one help, again, come and see us. Are you or your partner a student? That's the next question. We're going to say no, we're not students. Are you or your partner currently in prison? Because this calculator probably isn't going to help you if your partner's in prison. There are other ways that you can get help, but this calculator isn't going to be able to help you. So, no, we're not in prison. Do we have a long-term illness, or are we in hospital, or living in a care home? Again, this calculator probably isn't going to help you. So we're going to say no. And again, all the way through, why are they asking that question?
Yeah. So if I was an older person and my partner had gone to
Yes.
live in a care home, where can I go to get some understanding of to what?
Yeah, well again, Age UK would be a really good place to go. But let's have a look and see why we're asking this question. So special rules apply if your partner are long-term ill in hospital or live in a residential care home. This means the results we give you cannot currently be accurate, so the benefits calculator won't be useful to you. Okay, so it's just telling you that it's probably not a good idea to use this calculator. There's other help, and the hospital guide, the care homes guide, find an advisor. So it will signpost you to other sources of help, but this calculator is probably not the best one to use. Okay, so we're going to click on next. So let's get started. So those are sort of pre-questions just to make sure that this calculator is going to be helpful to you. And as it says here, what you'll find useful to have in front of you, any benefits information you've got already. So if you don't have the benefits claim letter that they've sent you, on your bank statements it should tell you if you've got a DWP payment that's coming in, or if you're receiving universal credit, they should be marked and referenced on your bank statement if you've got money coming in. So any bank statements will be useful. Any information about your housing costs, so whether you're paying a private landlord or you're paying a mortgage or you're in housing association accommodation. And if you have a partner who lives with you, we'll need to know the answers for them too. It does also talk about the Homes for Ukraine scheme. So that won't affect your benefits entitlement. So if you're housing someone as a refugee from the war in Ukraine, then that's not going to affect your council tax. Okay. It also says if someone's stopping you from having access to information about your finances, that could be a sign of economic abuse. So if you're having trouble getting to this information in the first place, then there's information on this website about where you could go for help, because it might be that you're subject to financial abuse. Okay, so some quick questions about you. So I'm going to type in my postcode here. And there's also a checkbox to say, well, I haven't got any accommodation, I'm homeless or sleeping rough. So if that's your situation, then there's still help available, even if you haven't got a residence. Mm-hmm. Do I live with a partner? I'm going to say yes. And I'm going to put in my date of birth because some benefits are age-related. So I'm just going to type in my date of birth there. Or I will if I click in the right place. And I'm going to put in my partner's date of birth. I'm going to click on next. And then the next questions are about any benefits that I'm currently receiving, because some benefits, they open the door to other benefits. So if you're receiving universal credit, you might find that you get council tax relief and so on. So any benefits information I've got, either in a benefits letter or in a bank statement. If you can't find this information, then you might need to make a phone call to check. So again, some quick questions about our benefits. Are you or your partner receiving any benefits or tax credits at the moment? I'm going to say no. If I was, then they would want to know either from my benefits letters or from my bank statements information about those benefits. And then we've got some questions about my health. So the reason that it needs to know that is it might impact the amount of benefits I get. So if I've got a disability, some benefits there's an uplift if you're living with a disability. So I'm going to say next. So the quick question is, do you consider yourself to have an illness or a disability? I'm going to say no. And then I'm going to click on next. And then it's asking the same question about my partner. Does my partner consider themselves to have an illness or disability? I'm going to say no.
I noticed that on the screen there pops up a chat box.
Yes.
So does that mean that you can get help online?
Yes.
So you can talk to somebody about a question?
Yes. So there's a web chat. So yes, as you're filling it out, and I think there's someone on the other end of that chat within normal business hours, but I think also on a Saturday as well. So if you are filling this out late at night, you might not have access to that, but during the day there should be someone that can help you fill out the form.
That's really helpful.
Yeah. So the next questions are about whether I or my partner is caring for someone with a disability, because again, sometimes if the the calculator knows that someone that you're caring for has a disability. If we know about what their disability is, then that can give us more accurate information. So, benefits information for me and my partner, information about disability benefits that the person we're caring for receives. Now again, probably the best thing to do is to ask them if they're prepared to give you that information. But that's all we need to know. We don't need to see their paperwork. We just have to ask them what benefit it is that they're receiving. And again, a reminder there about it's all confidential, nothing's going to be passed on. And I'm just going to highlight down here, Marilyn, because I know we haven't got all that long to go through it, so we might not get all the way through. So just like in real life, if we needed to stop partway through, we've got this 9-character reference number here, so we could make a note of that.
Yeah.
Or we could copy it to the clipboard and print it out when we got home, or just write it down on a bit of paper. So we've got that reference number, and if we come back to this on another day, we can type in that reference number and we can carry on where we left off. So don't feel that you have to rush through it to get to the end. If you don't know some of the information, you haven't got it to hand, then we can just write down that reference number.
And that's right at the bottom of each of the screens?
On all of the screens. So as soon as you've made a start, you can abandon at any point and come back.
You just scroll down.
Exactly that, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll just see how many more screens we can get through before. I know you've got to go in a few minutes. So are we a carer for a sick or disabled person? I'm going to say no to that. And then we'll click on next. And is my partner a carer for a sick or disabled person? And again, I'll say no. Obviously, if we said yes, then that would take us to a different screen, and then we fill out information about that one. And then the next question is the children in your life. And that's going to help because if we've got children that we're having to pay for childcare for, then again that comes into the calculator. So it'd be useful if we have on our bank statement any of the information we have about paying for childcare.
What age do children, what age classifies them as a child?
Well, it depends if they're still in full-time education. And I think still in full-time education, it might go up to 20 or 21. So
if they're at university?
Possibly. I don't know, because it will all be dependent on that person's personal circumstances. Also, if they have, if they're a cared for person, so if they come from a social care environment and now they're living with you as a recent leaver of childcare, I think that goes up to maybe to 25. So, Amber, I think we better call a halt to it here because I know Marilyn's got to go to another appointment now. So we'll carry on with this on another day.
Thank you very much.